1998 Honda CRV heater core job. I decided to start this halfway through. The dash is on the floor in my garage. And this is what it is going to look like when you get it out of the car. I thought we'd start here, and maybe you can picture what's going to happen when it comes out. So your column needs to come down, the lower cover needs to come off, your glove box needs to come out, and that's pretty much it on that side. These are the dash connectors. You can see the wiring harness comes down from the top. These are the only connectors you need to undo. This one, this one. There are 4 of these here. Here's the radio antenna connector from the back. Your HVAC controls need to be unplugged. This is your airbag wiring. And I don't think these need to be unplugged. OBD2 connector. And there's a module inside the passenger's B-pillar with a brown connector that'll need to be unplugged. Tools you'll need outside the car. 2 sets of heater hose pinchers to block off the in and the outlet to your heater core. 12mm socket for the heater assembly box. This is for your heater control valve, which you'll need to undo. I used vice grips to undo the clamps at the base of the heater hoses. The heater hoses are here. The clips are on the bottom, one over here and one over here. This nut holds in your heater box. This nut holds on your heater control valve. You'll need to undo your heater control valve line here and undo this clip here. You can just lift up on it with your finger and it unsnaps. And then the heater hoses here come out, and then this control line comes out with the heater box as well. But make sure you pinch these hoses off. You can see I pinched it off there and there. And then you won't lose all your coolant, and you only have to use a little bit of coolant when you refill it. Keep in mind if your heater core has failed, you will want to replace your coolant. The only reason I pinched mine off and didn't replace the coolant is because I recently did a cooling system flush and then the heater core plugged. If you have an air conditioner, the battery has to come out and the air conditioner lines are accessed here. I highly recommend taking it to a shop if you have an air conditioner. The first thing you want to do is remove the lower Phillips screws. After that, this lower panel pulls off. You can leave your fuse box cover on there. You don't need to pull it off or anything. After the lower cover's off, this lower section pulls off and then slips behind the top piece here. And this top piece stays with the dash, and this does not need to come out. Behind here is a metal bracket. You'll need a 10mm socket and undo the 3 bolts that hold it on. Off this cover to access the steering column bolts underneath. It's simply 3 Phillips screws and this comes off. I recommend undoing your SRS wiring harness and leaving it attached to your dashboard. That way you don't have to deal with rerouting it, all the little clips along the back of it. You can simply undo these connectors, 1, 2, 3, and 4, right in there, and then the one to your steering wheel. Then take this cover off and undo the module behind here. And then all the clips are undone and you can take out the SRS harness with the dash panel. Tackle the driver's switch bank. The bottom is removed. I recommend going through here and pushing the switches out from the back. You can also access your wiring connectors from under here easier. Start at the bottom, Once you have this out, you can work through the hole to get to this one, and then to this one, and it makes your life very easy. Next, we're dropping the steering column. You'll need a 12mm socket. I'm sorry, you will need a 14mm socket and a 10mm socket. Now up here is one steering column bolt. The second one's over here, a big nut. And there are two down here. It's a yoke that goes around the steering column. There and there, both 14mm. And the 10mm, you will need to do this wiring pack. Now those black things look like they come out easy, but they don't. There it is. That needs to come out. If you just undo that with a 10mm socket and an extension, both these come out, and they come out, stay in the vehicle with the vehicle wiring harness. Now they are fairly unique. You pull them out of the blue bracket. Do this. So you pull on the clip, and then you pull that second wire out. I'm going to trim off the passenger side. There's one Phillips screw here, and this whole plastic panel moves straight out. This covers the PCM, and we'll need to remove it. There is a plastic push clip here, and a plastic push clip here, and then this slides straight backwards. The glove box comes out simply by removing a hybrid 10mm Phillips here and here, and then you pull the handle and the whole thing comes out. Oh yeah, you have to remove these guys too. You simply push them from the outside and they pop inwards, and then you can shimmy them out with a glove box a little bit open. Columns down. Your dash wiring is unplugged. Next, there's a bolt here, a 12mm bolt here. There's a 10mm bolt behind it, but that's for your grounds. You don't have to undo that one. 12mm, 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 and 12mm. All of these are accessible with a 12mm extension and a socket. Okay, the dashboard is loose. It's shifted forward so we can get access inside. This is your HVAC connector. That needs to come unplugged along with a little brown plug beside it. This is your SRS wiring. Loose dashboard. All the wiring has been undone. It's clear, it moves freely, falls all the way forward. It's not hung up by these wires. It's not hung up by this module. And it's not hung up by the wiring over here. I recommend getting a friend and just hauling it out the passenger door. You don't have the steering wheel in your way, and it comes out fairly easily. It looked to me like the air conditioner would come out fairly easily since it bolts on here, here, over here, over here, and here. And looks like it would come out, or the other ones would separate from it. But that's not how it works. The air conditioner unit is in front of the heater box, here and on the bottom. When you undo the heater box, you can't move the heater box forward to get the heater box out without first fully deforming the evaporator. So I removed this. I removed the 3 screws in the front. I removed the wiring. And first, I removed the blower box. Now, this is far from easy. It took me hours to get this out. I undid everything, and then I wiggled and jiggled and twisted so that I could drop the heater box down, and then I could move the air conditioner over this way to get me enough clearance to move the heater box this way, and then pull it straight out of the vehicle. It sounds simple enough, but the hardest part is first getting this part off, and then second, getting this part of the heater box out from behind this part of the air conditioner, when this part of the air conditioner doesn't move, because as you could see, the hard lines behind the battery are crimped behind the firewall, leaving no clearance. So yes, possible. I highly recommend you don't do it. It's very easy to break something. Everything in here is made of plastic. But it's possible, for those of you looking for possible. This is the heater core cover, right here. It's held on by 2 screws. That's how I knew my heater core was leaking. It was covered in green scunge. You can see there's still some green scunge here that I didn't clean off. It wasn't quite dripping, but as soon as I dropped that down, I could see it had been leaking into the housing. So when you get the heater box out, I've already had this one out and back in, preferably remove the whole thing. If you don't have air conditioning, you can just turn this heater box over, undo 2 screws at the base, or 3 screws, 1 that holds the lines, 2 that hold the heater core, and the heater core slides right out. You slide the new one in as long as it came with foam on it. If yours didn't come with foam sealing, I highly recommend getting some foam sealing and sealing that heater core. Airflow is very important. It's important that when you take it apart and you put it back together, if you fight around the air conditioner like I did, that all your seals are intact. If you lose any of your seals, the blower motor starts here, blows through everything, and anywhere it can find a hole, it will escape and it'll make noise, and it'll be no good.